It's 15,000, it's 1,500, 2,000. To some, it may be little, but to many, that's the cost of a sack of maize or fare to go to look for work. Mr. Speaker, so the child goes home, and that's how inequality begins. Not with guns, but with gates. Mr. Speaker, if we do not ask a child whether they have a right to breathe, why must a 3-year-old earn the right to learn? Right now in our systems, it says you may learn if you can pay. And those unsilenced line, Mr. Speaker, becomes defense. Research, again and again, it has said, and we all know, Mr. Speaker, that in the early beginning of life, that's when our minds are being shaped. That if we intervene early, we're able to build a strong nation and responsible human beings. And yet, with all this knowledge, we still hesitate. In Nakuru, 60,000 3 to 5-year-olds are living in uncertainty. Some are enrolled, others are left behind. And I want to ask, Mr. Speaker, when did a nation begin its first years, its first life, by neglecting the people it states to protect? Mr. Speaker, we have countries with fewer resources than ours, like Rwanda. In Rwanda, pre-primary education is free. In 2022, the enrollment rate in Rwanda was 60%, and they're aiming for 100% in 2026. Just our neighbors here, Uganda, with a smaller GDP than ours, is piloting universal access across all their public ECD centers. And yet, we still hesitate. Mr. Speaker, if we ring-fence ECD funding, currently we are allocating 500 million in early education. If we get a clear line item that the public can hold us accountable to, because what is not ring-fenced is rinsed away in emergencies. If you are able to phase out the ECD fees methodologically, not politically, then, Mr. Speaker, we are able to cover all ECD learners within 3 years. It's all about priorities that you're having right now. And, Mr. Speaker, let us not forget the ECD's teachers. They're not babysitters. They're architects of knowledge, Mr. Speaker. Their current worth, 15,000 per month, is unfair. It does not reflect their worth, the worth that they input into our children, Mr. Speaker. Because if we lift the children and we leave the teachers behind, the system will collapse inwards. Mr. Speaker, as I finish, 20 years from now, we are not going to remember the motions we are going to pass or the politics of the day. We are going to be remembered whether we ensured a beginning for all children or just another delay. Let us be the assembly where we plant trees that we may never sit under, because that is what leadership is all about, not feeding egos, but feeding the future. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I support this, that in our next budget, the children of Nakuru, that all bells will ring for all children, no matter their background, no matter their parents' pocket, because it is a right that it needs to be protected by us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Alex, I want to remind Honorable Francis that you can only speak once to a motion, but right now, Honorable Alex.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, following the conversation that we have today within the Assembly, I feel touched that such a noble motion can be brought to the Assembly, and I want to give my congratulations to Honorable Adhiai from Shaba Board for coming up with such a noble debate and a motion that can be debated within this assembly, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you look at this nation, we must have the makers of the nation. And the makers of this nation, Mr. Speaker, are not those great men who sat within the Reco Parliament in 1961 to the year 2022. We are the makers of the nation, Mr. Speaker, and as such, Mr. Speaker, we must step up and say it as it is. That according to Schedule 4 of the Constitution of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, this is a function that has been given to the county governments, and as such, Mr. Speaker, I feel Nakuru County should take lead in doing this. When you go to the book, Why Nations Fail, Mr. Speaker, you will realize that some nations started at the colonial time at the same rate. For instance, Mr. Speaker, you go to Singapore and Malaysia, Mr. Speaker, Kenya, GDP at one point was higher than theirs, Mr. Speaker. But because we have makers of a nation within that country, they have invested within the education system. Today, we must also make a choice on how to go far in this dispensation. Mr. Speaker, within the last budget, as the chair budget, we did an allocation of around 500 million, and mainly these amounts went to the side of bursaries, Mr. Speaker. There has been contention within the courts from the control of budget, Mr. Speaker. If such monies will no longer be used to fund what we call bursaries within our counties, and of which our people really deserve these bursaries, Mr. Speaker. But if at all, then a time will come that we shall not see the light of day within giving these bursaries, Mr. Speaker. I will urge each and every honorable member within this House to do an allocation of an equivalent amount that they used to give to bursaries, Mr. Speaker, to enhance, first of all, the infrastructure within the awards, Mr. Speaker. Also, we come up with feeding programs within these schools. You'll be touched, Mr. Speaker, that most of our schools survive on the UGI program that Her Excellency Susan Keheka has started. And I'll give a figure. Like in my ward, a school like Lakeview Primary School, ECD, I had a population of around 200 young ones. But when the UGI program was introduced, Mr. Speaker, I had an increment of around 150 pupils who came to join the school, Mr. Speaker. So I find that if we were to do a proper feeding program, a proper remuneration for the teachers who are there, we shall have helped this nation a big deal. We shall have improved our worth within this nation, Mr. Speaker. And we shall move towards the meeting of the SDG goals within our budget, Mr. Speaker, that we have set within our budget, that we have set within our IDEA, Mr. Speaker. And as such, I feel that we shall have a noble society, and students will be happy, parents will be happy. I have listened to Mheshimiwa Ann speak, and indeed, Mr. Speaker, I want to concur that not many families are able to feed their own pupils, Mr. Speaker. Not many families are even able to feed their own stomachs in this Nakuru County. And not just Nakuru County, we are talking about the entire nation, Mr. Speaker. As such, this assembly has a noble task of reallocating the monies that were going for bursaries to such a noble act, Mr. Speaker, that we help this county. The UGI program this year, Mr. Speaker, if you remember, we had allocated 122 million Kenyan shillings. And if we were to bring 500 million or 300 million, Mr. Speaker, into this program of ECDs, I think we shall have boosted our pupils a big deal. In my ward, Mr. Speaker, I've started some kitchens. One of them is in Lakeview Primary School. The other one is in Manera Primary School. And the other one that is in procurement is at, will be done at Milimani Primary School. These kitchens, Mr. Speaker, I found them not just serving the ECD rituals, but the schools have now started using this program or these kitchens to feed the entire school, Mr. Speaker. As such, Mr. Speaker, I feel if we can all unite and bring some amounts that will bring a favor to our people, even the heavens will be happy. And the angels will say, yes, we have makers of a nation who mind about the people, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I stand to support this motion.
By order of seniority, we start with the minority leader, and then we'll hear what Honorable Francis wants to inform the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've listened carefully and what the motion is all about, and I want to congratulate Honorable Atiai. And I remember he talked to me last week regarding the issue of the motion. And actually, the members have raised the issues of the motion being a bill rather than a motion. And Mr. Speaker, I wish to draw your attention to Standing Order number 49. Standing Order number 49. This is something that regards the passing of any motion in the Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I have nothing against the motion, but however, with what we call procedural ways of moving a motion and the types of motions that are brought to any Assembly. And the Speaker, and now you are the Speaker on the giving of notice of motion, Sabbatical 1, 2, and 3 have already been taken care of, Part B. But I wish to draw attention to Parts F of the standing orders. Mr. Speaker, for motions that regard what we call the money bills, because this is certainly the motion that has to do, and I'm disappointed the Chair for Budget has left, and we needed his attention with regard to this. Mr. Speaker, Part F says, if the motion calls for commitment of public funds for which there is no provision made in the annual estimates adopted by the Assembly, the Speaker may give an alternative view and guidance on how such a motion should move. Mr. Speaker, it says, such kind of a motion like the one the Honorable Adie has brought here, it entails money, and it entails the passing of what we call the annual estimates of the Assembly. The Chair for Budget has actually talked about two things, and all of us are mentioning about the bursary. But the bursary is a bill that was passed in this Assembly, and the monies have already been allocated for bursary. So if you have to remove the money for bursary, it means then something has to be done, because there is already a bill in this Assembly that guides us on how to run the monies for bursary. The OG program that we are all talking about was also brought to this Assembly, and we passed a motion. I'm not sure whether it was a motion. Mr. Speaker will guide me on this. And there was a policy that was also formulated. So in order for us to have a program that deals with school fees or capitation for our children, we also need to have a policy in place so that you're able to run the program. So, Mr. Speaker, my concern, and which now we should be guided as an Assembly, and I remember the Honourable Member for Mr. Honourable Kanyeri has talked about it. If we pass this as a motion is, I'm not sure what is the grammar, the only teacher for the English teacher is here. A motion sounds like a good idea to be passed. But however, is it a law that can be effected? But if we pass it as a bill, that is a law that will be passed from today and tomorrow and will be considered by other assemblies. We have passed many, many motions in the Assembly, Mr. Speaker, which we have no control of, and we deal with them. But a bill, once it is passed in this Assembly, Mr. Speaker, the bill will be read today and tomorrow and will be guiding the assemblies that will come, and nobody can change it. For example, when we pass the idea of the bursary in this Assembly, nobody can alter the Assembly. Sorry, the issue of the bursary. But however, if we say it is a motion can take slightly longer. And to me, Mr. Speaker, it's not rigorous, so binding like we can have. So I want to be guided, Mr. Speaker, whether that consideration for monies has been put aside. Where is the money going to come from? Where is the policy for that kind of a discussion? So that we are able to help the Honorable Atia and the members of this country how to come up with a motion or with a bill that our children can use in the years to come. So my consideration, Mr. Speaker, if you have read Part F, the whole of that, this is the money bill or the money motion. So we need to be very careful on what we are passing. It's not any other thing we can say tomorrow. For example, Mr. Speaker, I know in the next few minutes you'll be asking us whether we pass it or not. Yes, we'll say it is there. But then how do we move it now? We need to have a policy in place. How much are we paying? Which are the schools that are all there? Mr. Speaker, that is where I'm a bit confused. But I agree with him that we need to have a capitation for all our ECDs. Mr. Speaker, kindly guide us on the matter to that. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, point of information.
Majority Leader.
Thank you. Let me take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to inform the Leader of Minority that a motion is just a forum of discussion where we make a proposal. And after making a proposal, this proposal reaches the executive where they make the policies. And then thereafter, the policy is brought to the House after taking their considerate time to ensure that they actually go through the deliberations. So I think we are not making we are not floating any law. We are just doing our duty, making proposals, and then they'll pick. And once they've done that, I want to believe that they'll have settled their budget. And when that budget is brought to the Assembly, we shall unanimously look at it and then approve the same. So this is just by the initial stages of ensuring that we accomplish our mandate. So it's a proposal. Thank you.
Point of information.
Thank. All right. On the same.
Yeah, on the same. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to appreciate my Jirani here for this noble motion that is brought on the floor of the House. I want to marry the point that Minority Leader has brought up and also what Majority Leader is trying to shape. That it is good that we are discussing this thing as a motion and therefore setting logic for further discussion and even formulating of bills and policies that can regulate this kind of fund. So I think Minority Leader was trying to advise the House and also the move of the motion that yes, we can have this as a discussion and pass it, but it can go further and bring it in form of a bill. You don't have to rely on the executive to bring a bill here. You can have your private member bill, and we will discuss it. So I think, Mr. Speaker, through your guidance, after this motion is passed, because all the contributors here are pro this motion, I would ask Mheshimiwa to scale it up and bring it in form of a bill so that we have a constructive discussion as a House so that even necessary allocation could be made to this funding. Thank you.
Honorable Francis.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I know I had consumed my time, but thank you for using your wisdom to give me just a minute. Most of my points have been raised by my Minority Leader, but I have one point I just wanted to add. Honorable Speaker, when you go along the streets, the big towns, you will find most children there at the age of between 4, 5, 6, 7 are selling some equipment there, like we have some the young angels, let me call them, because sometimes they are being given those duties by their parents. And sometimes I engaged one of them, why are you selling these bananas around the streets? And the kid was able to narrate the story. He told me he's looking for money to go for nursery school. Honorable Speaker, that thing touched my heart. Last year, December, I enjoyed my holiday. I visited one of children's homes within Naivasha. And Honorable Speaker, on 11th May, we are planning to visit street children within the Naivasha town. And why or what make us to visit, or what is making us to visit those children? We have an increased number of street children within Nakuru County. Honorable Speaker, if you go and try to do your due diligence, why we have this number, or this number have increased in this capacity, it's because the parents lack financial muscles to make those children go or attend the ECD classes. With this motion, Honorable Speaker, it will be able to transform our Nakuru County, and more so because I know the other counties will come and maybe do benchmark or will do that implementation around the country, that is Kenya, Honorable Speaker. We will be able to reduce the number of street children, Honorable Speaker. We will be able to reduce the numbers of those children's homes. There are people who are taking advantage, Honorable Speaker, through the international organizations, Honorable Speaker, by forming the children's homes to take advantage of these children's, Honorable Speaker. So I'm in full support of this motion and the great mind from Honorable Wadhiai who came up with this motion. Remember, Honorable Speaker, that around journey, 1,000 miles, you must start with just a single footstep. This is our second step, because the first step, our second step, because the first step came from Shabab Wadhiai, then we are in the second move, then it's a continuation, and we need a full continuation in this motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, minority leader.
Informed by two members of the Assembly, the Honorable Majority Leader, and also informed by the Honorable Kajwang. But my concern, Mr. Speaker, I was just bringing the attention of the House that not all motions have the same weight. Some motions delivered in the Assembly have to get responses elsewhere. Mr. Speaker, now that we will pass this motion, I know nobody's against it. Who makes a follow-up of what we say? We'll be talking about the implementation committee in the next 6 months after the passage of this motion. We are passing the budget in the next maybe 2 months. So, Mr. Speaker, unless somebody pushes this motion so that, with a lot of speed, so that by the time we are passing the budget, all that we are discussing is going to be actualized. And, Mr. Speaker, that is why I was drawing your attention to Part F. And if you look at the last sentence there, it says that the Speaker may approve the motion, or he gives another alternative, and you're the Speaker today, defer the motion to the relevant committee if it contains issues to do with finances. So, Mr. Speaker, I leave it at discretion. That is what it says here. I have nothing against it. And we need to look at the issues. The budget will be passed by June, and the implementation committee has the mandate to look at those issues within 6 months. So unless it is not very urgent, Mr. Speaker, we need to be very cautious how we now move with the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The minority leader, thank you for bringing that into our attention. I'm looking at the motion in its current state and form, and it had 3 prayers. If you look at prayer number 1 was that the government of Nakuru to compute the entire amount required to ensure attainment of access to quality free pre-primary education and communicate to the House so that it can progressively allocate money towards attainment of free pre-primary education. By the first objective, then it does not directly affect the current budget. That is a bit futuristic. Number 2, in terms of policies or any other policy or any other enabling laws, in number 2, they want to begin to dedicate both monetary and non-monetary resources. So I believe that it is covered by the non-monetary resources. And looking at it from that perspective, I partly agree with you and also support what was going on, because eventually it's going to become a money bill. And before it gets there, we could then say that this forms a basis of the memorandum of objects and reasons that accompany a bill. And they would also still need to be agreed upon by members. So putting that into consideration, I would think that it was in good spirit and right to debate the motion so that the House can be on the same page. But again, I also agree that it needs to be escalated and to come in form of a bill. But that does not negate the fact that it needed to be introduced. And it did not intend to affect the current budget which is in operation. So I would say that we finish on debating, and then we'll give directions on the next step. Thank you. All right. So the mover, and they have the right to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I'd like to commend all members of this House for overwhelmingly supporting this motion. And to my minority leader, thank you for your concerns. But this is just a proposal that you are giving. And the executive, I consulted the executive before I brought it into this House. And there's goodwill from the other side on the same issue. So even as we go on to pass this motion, I believe from the other side, they are ready to implement what you're going to forward to them. And again, it is up to us as members to appropriate funds towards this capitation, to come up with a capitation fund that will fund all these things in school, the school fees, the building of the ECDs, and everything. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank you all for the support that you've given me today, and the great people of Nakuru. They are watching us, whatever we're doing here today, and they know that we are working for them. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I pray that the members pass this motion, and then we move on to the next step. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I now put the question that this House, by way of resolution, urges the county government of Nakuru to compute the entire amount required to ensure attainment of access to quality free pre-primary education and communicate to the House so that it can progressively allocate money towards attainment of free pre-primary education. 2, to begin to dedicate both monetary and non-monetary resources towards the gradual attainment of access to quality free pre-primary education as per the Constitution and the commitment of the United Nations SDG number 4. Progressively set up a fund to enhance free pre-primary education in the county. As many as of a similar opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. For the purposes of the follow-up, like it was brought by the minority leader, we wish also to commit the same to the department, to the Committee of Education to help in the next step. Next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, those are the orders of the morning sitting.
This House stands adjourned until 2 p.m.